Sunriser Hyderabad, well, it was a season to forget last time around because in the history of their IPL, it was not the prettiest looking seasons. In fact, their worst ever. But hopefully, 2022 is a new chapter for them. Remember, they still have Kane Williamson, they've lost Rashid Khan, they've lost a lot of the other stars. But here we are to preview their squad before IPL 2022 with one of our chief riders, Somesh Agarwal, of course. Somesh, first up, SRH. I know that you just told me that you go potentially have a soft corner for them in this one. Why is that?
I mean, see, only reason being they have a lot of youngsters in their mix,
Yeah.
and I don't think people rate them a lot. So it sort of makes them the underdog, and in a tournament when I don't really have a team to follow, so it's always good to follow either the underdog or someone like a Mumbai Indian who we all know are an exceptional T20 team.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to see if SRH is going to probably do what they've been doing since, 2016. I know last year was a blip. But look, let's get straight into that squad depth chart because that's what we kind of do in terms of previewing all the squad stories right now. What stands out for you the most here, Som? Because there's a lot of options, especially in that batting top order. But
Yeah.
can we straight away go into the strengths and figure that out first?
Yeah, I mean, see, if you look at the depth chart for Sunrisers, the thing that stand out the most is a lot of their players are adept at multiple roles. Now, this can be a positive because that will give them the flexibility, but at times this can also work against the side because it might take them a while to figure out what their starting 11 is and which player is performing well in which role. So it can go either way, but from the first look, it's always good to have multiple options for multiple positions, and they also have a whole host of all rounders. Again, this is something with both them and Punjab sort of struggled last year because not having a lot of all rounders in their team. So I think they've covered for it this time around again. Obviously, it was very surprising that they sort of did not, they could not retain Rashid Khan and did not retain Jason Holder. But I mean, whatever is said and done, again, they have a lot of potentially match winners.
Yeah, the key word there is potential because you mentioned the fact that they've lost an array of superstars, not to forget David Warner and Johnny Bairstow, who've been sublime for them at the top of the order. They still have Kane Williamson, who's, of course, a run accumulator, but there's a lot of youngsters. Umran Malik comes to mind, but let's just focus a little bit about the youngsters at the top of the order because Abhishek Sharma, you have people like Abdul Samad, of course, and not to forget someone like Washington Sundar, who they've taken away from RCB. Are these positive signs if you're an SRH fans? Do you think they can rely on these youngsters?
I mean, they'll have to. They don't have any other option. So I mean, for SRH, their entire season will depend on how these youngsters turn up because Abhishek Sharma has been in and around the IPL for the past 3-4 years. He's Shubman Gill's colleague, so we all know now the stature that Shubman Gill has attained. So he would want to do something similar, and I think this can be his season. He would want this to be his season. He's done well for Punjab. I think it's important for SRH to give him a proper role. I think looking at their squad mix, he'd fit perfectly in that opener's role because it sort of gives them a left-hander in the top four as well. And then coming up later down the order, Abdul Samad is also key for them. He'll be, I know Shah Rukh Khan has sort of hogged the limelight in recent while, but he's Abdul Samad is also among uh, the very good finishers that we have in India currently. So
Yeah.
Abhishek Sharma, Abdul Samad, and then obviously later Umran Malik and Natarajan. I mean, these guys will have to be at their best. If not all of them, at least three of them for SRH to sort of using the Kiwi terminology of punching above their weight.
Yeah, I mean, that was literally going to be my next question to you. But look, you kind of touched upon the Indian core there, and it has the makings of a good core in the years to come as well. Let's see how that really unfolds in 2022. Let's now, of course, showcase their potential strongest 11 on paper, according to the think tank. Or this is pretty much your call, I'm guessing, because you, of course, have delve deep into this team. What do you make of this team? Because look, there's a lot of question marks, especially in that lower order thing in terms of that fourth spot of the overseas player, Marco Jansen, Sean Abbott. There's Romario Shepherd, of course, and then you have people like Aiden Markram Purin. Who are the automatic selections according to you, Som, in terms of their foreign picks?
Yeah, I guess see, Williamson, Mark, and Pooran are a no-brainer. They'll have to be there. A
Right.
couple of things that work in favor of SRH is one. Number one, Aiden Markram. He's literally, has had a revamp of his limited overs career, especially T20 career after the World Cup, where he did really well at number four. So it's like he's a easy fix for SRH, occupying that crucial number four spot. Something that we touched upon for during when we discussed Punjab, that number four is actually the toughest role to adapt in T20. But since Markram has done well in that spot, he takes that up. Williamson is, of course, I think he did well for them in 2018 when he was
Yeah.
opening. So I guess he'll be doing that role again. Uh, he's as in terms of anchors, he's one of the best. He can switch gears according to the need of the situation, the pitch, and the game. So that's good. Uh, the question mark, the biggest question mark there is Puran at number five, because that's where he sort of started his T20 career. But lately, he's done well for West Indies at number three. But given the squad makeup of SRH, the only finishes of pedigree that they have to players who are like six hitters are Puran and Samad. So I don't think SRH has any other option than to have Puran at five. Because if they try to fix him at three, then they'll have to play Rahul Tripathi at a spot where he's not proven himself, or maybe push Markram or someone else later down, or even Abhishek Sharma. But that is gonna create a lot of issues. So better would be to have a proper role for Puran, that all you have to do is bat 15 balls and maximize those. So if
Yeah.
they are able to get that out of Puran, they will be in good stead from the batting perspective.
Yeah, and one more other thing that you've mentioned in your preview, and you guys can check it out further if you guys like to read the articles as well on cricket.com, is the fact that it's versatility. This squad spells a lot of versatility. And in this day and age, we talk about matchups in T20 cricket. It's an equal balance of lefties and righties. Let's just go back to that chart to just finish up in terms of certain pitfalls that you can perhaps see with regards to SRH right now. Because look, in all departments, they're kind of ticking each box, but where do they fall short, you reckon? Do you think it'll probably be the lack of experience, or do you think somewhere else which will kind of make them found wanting?
Yeah, I mean, see, the biggest concern for them, at least on the bowling front, would be how Bhuvneshwar Kumar turns up, because it was the IPL last season when it started in India that the downward trajectory of Bhuvneshwar Kumar began, and since then we've not really seen the real Bhuvneshwar Kumar. But looking at the squad mix, they apart from him, they don't really have someone who can be the leader of the attack. So they would really hope that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is at the peak of his fitness, and also has that swing back on. So at least for the first six overs, he can be what he has been, what we have been used to seeing him. So that's there. The other thing would be, again, there are a lot of fitness concerns. Bhuvneshwar, like I pointed out, Natarajan is not someone who's always been fit. He's been a bit on and off. Unfortunately, Sundar is also someone who tends to go unfit at important junctures. And then they've retained Umran Malik. Umran Malik has just played eight T20s in his career, so they've taken a big punt on him. But given he's an express pacer, again, fitness is very important, and we'll have to see how he, whatever the expectations are from him, how he turns up. Because again, Bhuvneshwar, Umran Malik has that crucial spot where he's the only bowler with real raw pace. If you look at others, they're not really those 140 plus kind of bowlers. So again, Umran Malik also plays an important role. One of the very good picks for SRH this season is Marco Jansen, and I expect him to start because he adds in a lot of variety. Tall, lefty, hit the deck kind of a bowler. So I think he can really plug that gap of middle overs and death overs, something that Jason Holder did really well for them last season. But I think Jansen is a better bowler than Holder, at least
Yeah, they
80%.
have. Plenty of options over there. Let's see how they, of course, choose that all important fourth spot. Just to wrap up this chat, let's get your predictors hat on then, because look, SRH finishing eighth last time around, but before that, they've been making the playoffs consistently. Do you think they will enter that playoff race again, or do you think it'll be slightly tougher this time around?
Uh, I think it'll be tough. I'll be rooting for them for sure, but it'll be tough. But again, having said that, no team is perfect this season, not even Mumbai Indians. So it's a very, I think it's the most open IPL since the first couple of seasons. I think almost every team has an equal chance
Yeah,
because
I mean,
no team really has good backups.
and I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just watching this right now, Somesh is a huge MI fan. For him to say that is, of course, conceding a lot of things before the tournament. But appreciate your time, Som, in this little chat on Hyderabad, of course, just previewing SRH. Good luck to all the SRH fans. They're supporting the Orange Army because they will come hard and they will, of course, rely on their bowling once again.